Greetings Exiles, I'm Codraziel and I just wanted to sort of discuss a potential alternative endgame path for, the skill tree and the items and what have you for the Siege Ballista Hierophant. So, I was doing my betrayals as one does, and I got Jorgen into research at tier 3, so I bought myself a nice little dex amulet, crafted aspect of the spider onto it, and then I got extremely lucky and got the 16% increased attributes implicit. Now, this is pretty much the point at which you want to switch out Astramentus. Once we switch out Astramentus, we start to lose a lot of our other attributes, those being strength and intelligence, which then means that cyclopean coil becomes less worthwhile damage-wise. So from here you would go to a headhunter or an essence crafted belt with dexterity and percent increased attributes or something like that, and the build becomes a lot more expensive. In addition to that, since we no longer benefit from the small amounts of dexterity and strength and stuff that we were getting from the witch and marauder sides of the tree, it then finally becomes feasible for us to go down to the ranger side. As you can probably glean from my tree, I am preparing for some sort of headhunter inspired learning shenanigans, but you needn't do that. So what we end up doing once we've upgraded our Astramentus and we've removed our cyclopean coil and all that stuff is we end up going down to the ranger side of the tree. So we take the quickest path possible to the transcendent flesh setup here, and then we take away the entire top part of the tree. This ends up resulting in less dexterity. However, it does give you two potential spots for your Maraketh jewel to try. So for example, I've got my brutal restraint in here because it gives me 20% increased dex over here. But if you had one that gave you 20% increased dex over here, you could put it here instead, and then put a fluid motion in there, or an inspired learning in there, and brutal restraint there, or two inspired learnings, or whatever combination of those things you want to do. Anyway, so if you're playing this build and you're at the mid to high 90s and you've got a bit of currency and you can get an amulet like this, then maybe it's time for you to consider going down into the ranger tree. It provides a lot of interesting damage benefits that aren't available really at the top there, such as Fangs of Frost, which grants 8% cold penetration as well as a bit of cold damage with attack skills. Primeval Force, which gives us 5% penetration as well as a lot of elemental damage with attack skills. Lethality, which gives us pretty much a replacement for the Lionized Fall setup to the left. Winter Spirit, this is a pretty nice node because once we've got this much dex, we do have some flat physical that can then be converted into cold and boost our damage substantially. We also have Avatar of the Hunt, which gives us a lot of movement speed and cooldown recovery with movement skills, which is pretty nice for our Flame Dash, or we may eventually switch to Blink Arrow if it becomes fast enough. So this has just been a quick update on another potential way to go towards the end game with this build. One word of warning is this setup has a lot less regeneration for your mana, so it's a bit irritating in that respect, but it is an alternative. So anyway, to those of you playing the build, I hope you're enjoying it, and don't feel like this setup is mandatory. I feel like I would have stayed with the Witch Marauder setup for much longer if I wasn't buying Fiend cards to go for a Headhunter. So anyway, with all that said, I'd like to thank you for watching, and good luck, and stay juicy.